In this episode, we're talking about all the surprising new demos from the first Steam Next Fest of 2026. All this and more on Indie Game Arcade. Hey, welcome back to Indie Game Arcade, the podcast that deep dives into the latest and greatest indie games. I'm your card-cutting co-host, Chris.
And I played too many games. I'm Joseph.
To the point.
Yeah.
I almost called myself Christ. So, I mean, there's that. I have had the frickin' song from Eugenics stuck in my head non-stop.
Which one? There's
all week.
So many good songs.
All of my days, I'm chasing rats.
Oh, yeah.
Non-stop. I can't get it out of my head.
It's so
I
good.
find myself singing it, doing everything. I will just walk from one end of the house to the other, and I'm like, all of my days, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not chasing any rats.
You have to play more of that game because every boss has such an epic theme song that they will all get stuck in your head. Especially, I think like,
oh, I know.
One of my favorites was the moon, like the boss on the moon. I'm not sure, but I know it was space related.
I've gone through about, I think, 5 bosses so far.
Okay. Well, once you get to the moon, I think that's when you'll start hearing like this really awesome song. And then the core or hell, I guess, is, I don't know. I haven't reached the final boss of that yet, so I don't know, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
I saw the two guys that created the soundtrack said that I think they're joking, but they said they're not joking, that they want to create an actual theatrical production of this, like Broadway style theater.
Wow.
With all these songs. I'm like, you know what? Maybe that would actually get me to a theater for the first time.
That'd be kind of amazing.
I did want to point out too, like, not that I want to get into the habit of plugging other podcasts, because just listen to our podcast. No, there's good podcasts out there. I was listening to the interview with Edmund McMillan on Post Games, which is the solo podcast by Chris Plant. That was such an interesting and eye-opening interview that it made me think about Mugenics in a completely different light. And I mean in a light that's like takes it from like the idea of a game that's very crude and very silly and everything, and it has way more meaning and heart to it than I ever would have guessed. And it's extremely, extremely personal in a way I never would have thought of. It's a fantastic interview. So if like you guys haven't heard it, go listen to that on Post Games. It is so good. So good.
The amount that I've spoken about that game is just incredible. Like I could still speak like hours about it with all the time I've spent in it. And like when I was on the Inner Gamer podcast the other day, plug that real quick. The Inner Gamer podcast, you can just look them up. I think that's the only one by that name. And these are my friends, but also like fellow gamers. And every once in a while, they'll do like indie game stuff on their show. And that's when they can bring me in, because that's where, especially like challenging games, that's where I specialize. So I did it for, well, Elden Ring's not an indie game, but I came in for Elden Ring because like none of them like chose to brave it yet.
Couldn't beat it.
I convinced them to buy it, and then they returned it because it was too hard for them. But that's beside the point. I talked about Mugenics on the latest episode for probably at least an hour straight. And it was just breaking down all of these like separate things that even though Brett had also been playing, he had no idea that any of that was possible. And so it's just cool to like share some of these discoveries. And he had shared some of his experiences with me. And like some of those are unique things that I never saw happen. So it's just really cool. Like that's a game that is just going to keep like it's on my things to play list for at least until I 100% it, which at this point, I think I'm like 20 something percent through and probably like 60 hours in. So it's like, who knows if that'll ever happen.
Well, and it's easily GOTY contender. Easily.
100%.
I mean,
yeah. It'll be on my list for sure.
Yeah, sold over 1 million copies in its first week. It has already earned the title of the most played roguelite in history. It has beat every other roguelite that has come before it, including Hades.
Oh, that's crazy. Almost unbelievable.
And it's only been a few weeks.
Yeah, interesting.
But hey, that's a game that came out a few weeks ago. We're here to talk about new games. Jesus, Joseph, why are you getting us off topic like that? God, what's wrong with you?
I feel like you brought that up, but you know what?
Nah, I
don't hate it. It's fine. Anytime we get to talk about Mugenics, I will.
We're talking about Steam Next Fest. I think I shared that at the top of the episode.
You did.
But we played a whole bunch of demos. We're not going to be able to talk about them all, but we're going to talk about as many as we can within an hour and change. And I want to start off with the only one that we both crossed over in.
Game start!
Vampire Crawlers. This was the card battler roguelike that was created by the same team, Punkel, that created Vampire Survivors. And I want to know right away, what did you feel as soon as you started playing this game?
This one, almost in the same way that Vampire Survivors flipped my opinion, even though it took longer for that one to flip my opinion. This one, when I first started, I was like, oh man, this is kind of like not going to be fun, or I'm not going to enjoy this. Like, it's just too simple. It's too much, whatever. It just looked like something that was thrown together like hastily, and it didn't seem like it had much content to it until I got into it. And then I'm starting to like strategize things and like put card combos together and see what's going to work best for my build. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm feeling it now. Now that I understand what they're giving to me, I'm enjoying it. And yeah, I had a really good time. I beat the demo, at least as much as the demo lets you beat. And I just had a really, really good time, like a surprisingly good time, given my initial opinion of it.
I really enjoyed it as well. I do think it's one of those games, much like Vampire Survivors that came before it, much like plenty of roguelites out there, things are going to feel kind of slow at first, like they did for me, where like the first run I started going, I was just kind of like, man, you know, I'm enjoying it, but like I'm not getting nearly as many cards as I thought I would. I felt like there would be more. I thought it would be a little bit faster paced than this. But it's like as things went on and like even in subsequent runs and stuff, that's when things started to really click in for me. So it was like that first run I did, I was kind of like, it's okay, I guess. But like that's also, I remember how I felt about Vampire Survivors for the first time, where I was just kind of like, I guess it's all right. I'm not sure if I'm into it. And then, you know, as you know, Vampire Survivors became one of my favorite games because I've put hundreds of hours into it. And so I definitely started going down that rabbit hole with this too, of like, the more I played it, the more I liked it, because the more I was just like, okay, I see where this is going. And I think it just like, this is one of those games that needs a little room to breathe. You know, it's like a fine wine. You got to open it. You got to let it set for a minute. You got to let it breathe. You got to let the tannins out, or whatever the shit it is for wine. I don't know. I don't drink wine, Joseph. I just chugged a beer. I'm a bro.
When Vampire Survivors, like where that like falls short for me in the long run is it's just the concept of it is like, I appreciate it, but it's just too simplistic for what I want from a game most of the time. So Vampire Survivors, I couldn't really see myself putting hundreds of hours into it the way that you have. But this game, there is the strategy aspect to it.
Does that make me a loser?
No. Tons of people love that game, so I'm probably in the minority of people who are not spending, you know, hundreds of hours in it. But this game is one that I feel like I really could just sink my teeth into because of how much I can see potential there. I don't know to what depth it's going to go. Like maybe it will kind of be like, okay, I feel like it's kind of capped off as far as like me feeling smart about the decisions that I'm making. And now it's all just about like picking a certain path of weapons to make things work or whatever. But from what I saw of it, I could see like conceptually how it would be cool to like make your own sort of builds and then still be reliant on the cards that you're drawing and how you're strategizing the usage of those cards to kind of maximize whatever build you're going for. That's what I appreciate. It's what I love about all deck builders is things like that. So this is going to be no different. I also like the like old PC RPG or old like computer RPG, like walking, just you only can walk in like 4 directions. It's very simplistic graphically. I've played, games that are even more simplistic that I've had a ton of fun with. So that's not a turnoff for me at all. That's just like, I appreciated how just simplistic the concept of it was and just how much fun I ended up having with it. So again, it's one that I know I'll probably pick up immediately when it comes out and spend hours in.
Yeah, absolutely. I also just want to, before we move on, say I love seeing all of the original characters and items come back in this and be used. Just being able to see them again and how they're utilized in this, like, in a different type of genre. And that's just fascinating to me that they were able to like bring all of those original characters back, make them work, and also like all the items and how those items translate from a horde survivor to now they are part of a deck of cards and making them still feel like they are a counterpart to what they were in Vampire Survivors, right?
Yeah.
That is really fascinating to me. Like the Holy Bibles, they still, like, the cards just spin when you use, and that's cool to me, man.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Axes kick ass.
Those are so
game.
powerful,
They're
man.
so strong.
Yeah.
And if you double the power of an axe, you're just wiping the screen every time it comes out. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
I
Absolutely.
wonder, like, property wise, or sorry, like, all the different sort of cameos they had in their game, like if they're able to, in the original Vampire Survivors, if they're going to be able to bring any of those characters up, like, are we going to see like a Castlevania version of this or an Among Us or whatever? I don't know like what the rights look like. They might have to like re-establish them for some things, but hopefully we'll get to see some expansions like that. I mean, I know the game isn't even out yet. I'm already talking about DLC, but I just really love the Castlevania aspect of Vampire Survivors when it came out. So I'm hoping that comes into play somewhere.
Yeah. Speaking of Castlevania, though, I don't know if you had heard, but Motion Twin, which is the developer and publisher of Dead Cells, and they did do that crossover with Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be creating a new Castlevania game.
Oh, nice.
So that
I haven't heard about
really
that.
interesting.
That's great.
Yeah. So just like imagining that team with their hands on the actual full IP is going to be insane.
Love that.
So yeah, really cool shit. Let's move on to our next demo. And I want to go with one that you played. So give me one.
Oh man. Okay. I'll start with one that I know people are going to like and have probably heard of. I wanted you to play it, but it seems like you didn't. Maybe you did. Everything is Crab is the game that I want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get to it, but
oh
yeah.
Man. So in this one, the idea, so this one it's an action roguelike, also horde survivor type game, but you are this blob at first, and the conceit of the game is that the ideal form for anything to evolve to ends up being crab. Just like that's like
sure
the ideal form of evolution. So what you're doing as you go through this game, as you go through a run rather, is you are fighting through this ecosystem of different things and getting different like sorts of evolutions attached to you. Like, okay, I have like a squirrel tail, so my speed is better, or my social ability is better. I have
cool.
I have like ape strength now, so all my strength stuff is better. And your character is changing and adapting to those changes as well. Like there was one time I had like an eagle beak, and within those evolutions, like you can start leveling, or like you can put different levels into those evolutions too, so they'll get stronger. They can evolve. There's like sub evolutions to those evolutions. Like it's really interesting in the way that like your character is being put together through all these different animal parts with the goal of eventually just becoming a crab. I just thought it was a really funny concept, and actually just really enjoyed what I played of the game. I beat the demo, but I know there's going to be so much more to it. Like the demo caps off with you getting approached by this like in this cutscene, like this giant boss that looks like really intimidating, and then it just cuts off. So it's like, oh man, I wonder like what's going to happen there. And that's just off the first like level or first area. So this is one I've seen some things about, but I've never really watched a playthrough of it. But having played through it myself now, I would definitely recommend it to anyone who likes this type of game.
That sounds incredible. Now I'm mad at myself for not having
It has
played it.
overwhelmingly positive reviews just based off the demo alone.
Well, hey, I guess it's not too late because, I mean, everyone hearing this, it's probably over, but I still have time because we're recording this in the past.
You do still have time.
I can literally play it as soon as we're done recording.
And you should.
I might because that sounds fun.
Get Tentacles. I recommend Tentacles.
Tentacles?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was moving across the ground real fast, and it let me grow more arms at a certain point. It was great.
I saw something that looked like a little kiwi bird, and like that looks fun. It was like a little
There's
white
so
kiwi.
many evolutions. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, there's just so many things in there.
I need it. I need it right now. Cool. I like that.
It's great.
Here's one that I played that you won't play, but anyone that has a heart should play. Since you don't have one, you don't have to worry about it. But this is the Witch's Bakery.
Witch's Bakery.
Yeah. Hey, if you like Studio Ghibli, then this is like a game. This game has that vibe to it.
Yeah, I've seen this game before. I love the way it looks.
Okay.
I love the art.
It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous, man. Like, even like the trailers and stuff just don't do it justice. Like, what's interesting about it is not just like the design of everything, but also like how the developer has the camera sort of like move in or out depending on how you are moving through the scenes. Make it feel so cinematic, very much in a Miyazaki style way. And like, I'm making that comparison, but the game does reference a lot of Miyazaki work, and some almost directly. Like, you can go to a cinema, and that happens pretty early in the demo. Like, the first person you meet as you move into this new area where you are a witch with a little familiar named Oreo. Your name is Rune, and you're opening a bakery in Paris. And the first person you meet is this older man that owns a cinema, and he invites you there. If you go there and look at what movies are playing, like all of them are sort of plays on Miyazaki films. And like one of them's like Grave of the Butterflies.
Oh, man.
So I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah. So like they're not really hiding it, but like it very much feels like a world that fits in like a Studio Ghibli kind of scape of everything. Like, it is in the looks, it is in how the characters interact, it is in the sounds and the story for sure. So like, you are managing the bakery, but you will also are a witch that deals in emotion magic. What she does basically is like, as she's running this bakery, people will come in every once in a while and she will see something like floating around them that they can't see themselves. There's like these things that will latch onto people, and it indicates that they have some sort of emotion that they have like latched onto and they have bottled up and they're keeping it inside. And this thing is kind of like feeding off of that. So one of the first people you meet, you use your magic to dive into their quote unquote heart palace, which is essentially like you go into a maze of sorts and the emotion is personified and stuck in that maze, and you shrink down to a little, well, kind of sperm looking thing, I'm not gonna lie. And you have to go through that maze. There's setbacks and stuff that are gonna fight back against you. You have to go retrieve that emotion and then safely get it out, and so that they can process and release that emotion, whether it's anger or sadness or something else. It's just very wholesome and joyful and silly and goofy, and I absolutely adored it. It was really, really cool. I'm just very glad that I got to experience this.
It looks like an experience. It's a show I would watch. It's a movie I would watch. Yeah, the gameplay might be not up my alley, but that's okay. I can appreciate it for what it is.
Absolutely. So what was your next?
I played two of the most beautiful pixel art games, or just like video games in general, that I've ever played or that I can remember playing in this Next Fest. I will say one of them because I'm pretty sure you did not play this one. Replaced.
Okay, I know about this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very interested to I did not play it, but I'm very interested to hear what it was like because I've seen trailers of it and it looks so cool.
Yeah. So in this is an action like platformer, action 2D platformer. The idea is you are basically an AI trapped in a human body, but as the AI, you're kind of like still communicating with the human who's there too. It's a whole thing, and at least early on, like that's what I'm getting from it. But like
sort of like a possession sort of thing going on,
kind
right?
of, but like not in a malicious way. It's not like anything like that. It's just like there's this whole like post-apocalyptic thing going on, and it seems really wild just from what I got from the initial story of it. But like the impressive part about it is just how beautiful the pixel graphics are of this. Like the way the background moves with you, and just the way every scene like looks, all the care that they put into all the like even small motions that you're making is just like astounding to me. I just couldn't help but like appreciate every scene I was like stepping through. And on top of that, like the combat's really cool too. If you could imagine like Arkham City or Arkham Asylum type combat, it's like that, but on a 2D level where it's like you see when they're about to hit you with something that you won't be able to parry, so you dodge it. You see when they're going to hit you with something that you can parry, so you can do that. And then you're kind of fighting through, flipping around, going from enemy to enemy. So it's a lot more simplistic than like obviously the 3D Arkham Asylum or even Spider-Man type combat, but it was really satisfying and felt good just to do. So having that combined with just this amazing looking game made this really a lot higher up on my list than it was before. I was impressed by the trailers of it, but playing it and experiencing it just really sold it to me.
You know, you see a game like this sometimes and you kind of worry like it looks really good, but is it going to live up to, you know, the look and feel of it? There was a game that looked somewhat similar last year that I was kind of excited for because it had a very similar, I don't want to say similar story, but similar kind of world. And for the same reasons, because it looked very beautiful, not nearly as beautiful as this looks, but very similar vibes and things. I was like, oh man, this is going to be so good. And then the gameplay just fell so short and just was not enjoyable to spend more than a few minutes in. And I was just so bummed out about that. I was like, oh, this could have been so good. So it makes me so happy to hear that this is actually living up to, you know, the look and feel of everything. So,
and it does feel like pretty forgiving on the like combat side of things too. Like you don't have to have like super like twitch reflexes or precise timing
so I can play it
to land these things. Yeah, like that's kind of what I was getting at, was like don't be intimidated by how the combat looks. I think it's one of those that you'll just feel really good about it because everything feels like really tactile and reactive in a way that you have time to react to it. It's moving at a slow enough pace to where you can react and still feel like you're, you know, doing something impressive, I guess. Like it felt good to me to play it. But I know that I recognize that like the parry timing was not nearly as strict as it feels in other games, but it did still feel akin to like what I'm thinking of when I think of like Arkham Asylum type combat. You get the signals and you react to those signals.
Yeah, I did enjoy those games. Like the combat in those games felt very good and very smooth to me. So like if it feels a little bit like that, then yeah, I'm going to have a good time with that for sure.
Definitely. And this was developed by Sad Cat Studios and published by Thunderful Publishing. I didn't say that, so I wanted to at least shout them out. And also, like before I move on, I need to say the same about Everything is Crab. I need to talk about who developed it, which is
who made that?
Odd Dreams Digital, and published by Secret Mode.
Let me mention who did Witch's Bakery. Sunny Lab created The Witch's Bakery, and it was published by Silver Lining Interactive. Sunny Lab actually is I think it's a duo of developers actually out of France. Because I know I've followed, I think I've followed them on TikTok for a little bit, seeing some of their development and stuff. So very, very cool.
Nice.
Let me tell you about a demo I played that out of all the demos I played, this was by far my favorite. You're going to understand why really, really quickly. And I think that this would be one that you might enjoy too. This is called Forbidden Solitaire. Right away, you're going to be like, oh, okay, because it's got some Inscription kind of vibes to it. And you would be dead right. The premise of this game is that you are playing as this character who found a copy of this old CD-ROM like Solitaire game, like this like messed up weird Solitaire game from like the 90s that was like banned. You weren't really sure why, you just remember that your mom would not let you play it back then. And like you, every once in a while, you're like chatting through like the equivalent of like an instant messenger sort of app or like a WhatsApp kind of thing with like your sister who's like trying to do some digging on it or something, right? While you actually put the CD-ROM into your computer, you fire it up and you start playing. And like, oh man, the vibes on this are so good. First of all, this is developed by Gray Alien Games and Night Signal Entertainment, published by them too. I think they're the ones that worked on Ancient Enemy and Home Safety Hotline. Home Safety Hotline was a game that blew up last year. Right away, I started watching the intro of the fake game, the CD-ROM game, when it boots up. And right away, I was like, is this going to be like old school, like original 1997 Diablo kind of feel? And it totally was. That made me so happy.
Yeah.
It is basically like old school Diablo, but Solitaire to fight. And Solitaire, I will admit, it sounds boring. This makes Solitaire very fun because the patterns and stuff go absolutely crazy. There are like piles in all of these different ways. If you're familiar with Solitaire, you understand that like you have to basically clear all the cards from your screen, right? And you can only do that with, in sequential order, but you have like multiple piles and stuff that you have to deal with. And there's other cards that get thrown in there too, almost in like a roguelike-ish kind of way. You're deck building a little bit here and there. And sometimes there's like cards that are locked and you have to like uncover so many to find a key to unlock that part to get to the rest of the cards. And you're doing that to like fight enemies and uncover secrets and open doors. And like all the while, there's this thing, this mystery going on of like, what happened? Why did this game get banned? What's actually wrong with it? Is there something wrong with your copy too? There's something really weird and ominous going on within and behind the scenes of this game in that very Inscription kind of way. So it is very much kind of a horror game in that way. And I love those games that one have like some sort of mystery buried within it in that meta kind of way, and things that are also very subversive. So good God, did I have such a good time playing this one, and I cannot wait for this one to get fully released. This is an easy day one purchase for me right away.
That looks really interesting. Yeah, I didn't even know about this game. I know it's right up your alley. I was a little burnt by the last one of these I played, which I don't remember the name of, so I'm not gonna like throw them under the bus or anything.
Yeah,
I'm not going to throw them under the bus. I'm just saying, like the last game I played like this, I did not enjoy fully. I thought I was going to, but then it just let me down in the end. So hopefully this one does not do the same.
I think this one will be very much worth it, easily. All right, what's your next game? What's your next demo, sir?
Oof. Okay. Let's go. I feel like you might have played this one. If you didn't, then I'd be surprised. But Wild Blue Skies.
I didn't.
How did you not play that?
It.
That's crazy.
Man,
as much as we've been talking about this game.
I know. It's because I already knew it was a game that I'm going to want to like play at some point. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to move on to a bunch of games that I have no idea about yet. Okay. I didn't fit it in yet. That doesn't mean I'm not going to play it yet, but I didn't do it for this episode.
Well, okay, so this was Chuhai Labs and Vitae Backroom Inc. and Humble Games is the publisher. So this one is a game, the Star Fox like game that we've been talking about for a while. It's like Star Fox mixed with Tailspin, because instead of in space, you are just in jets flying around, and you're doing the same thing where like a corrupt person who used to be, I think, like or a member of the army or head of the army or something has gone corrupt, and he is trying to take over the world or dominate the world. So you and your team of ragtag like pilots is going to try to stop him. And the way that so we just played that game last week that also, First Squadron Phoenix, that is like the exact same feel. And I would say that going from one to the other, they could be almost the same game just as far as controls go, because they're both, inspired by Star Fox, obviously. And they both feel like Star Fox. And I think this one wasn't doing anything so different from First Squadron that, I really have much to talk about with it, aside from that I will also be picking this one up because I really enjoyed the way it felt. I like the character art. It was only a single level that you got, but what made it feel so Star Foxy to me was the way that the enemies, especially like the boss of this level, this first level that you get to go through, he's so whiny and like just it really made me feel like that Uncle Andros kind of thing that you get, or even like that pig dude, whatever his name was, Pigma. Yeah, so it's like it felt like that kind of energy to me with those like really like whiny kind of villains, which sounds like a bad thing, but it's not, because it's really nostalgic to me hearing those voices. So I'm glad they stuck with that sort of style, because this was made by some of the original Star Fox team, right?
It was, yeah. I think the lead developer was actually one of the developers of the original Star Fox.
Nice. Okay. Well, it feels that way. So this is one that's absolutely going to be a pickup for me, like when it comes out. I've been excited about it for months now, so I was glad to finally get to try it out.
How does it feel like, because I'm looking at screenshots and stuff like that, but like how does it feel being in level, like, flying over things and flying through things? Do the screenshots do it justice, or does it feel even better?
I think it feels like the way you would expect it to. One of the things I would say it felt more like than Star Fox to me, at least partially, was Rogue Squadron. If you ever played any of those like Star Wars games, because those are also on rails type games, but because you're also interacting with, the surface and things that you don't get you get some of that in Star Fox too, because you're going to different planets, but I just was thinking that as well as I was playing this, just kind of like dodging under things and whatever. There's pillars that are falling. You have to kind of go around. You learn real quick to use your zoom, your boost, because you have to not get hit by things. And it felt good. And like I was talking about last week with the charge button, like your fire button being the same as your charge button on First Squadron. They're separate buttons on this. So I was like, oh, thank goodness. But
cool.
You can't hold down can you? I don't think you can hold down the rapid fire button. You just have to kind of tap it. But separately, you can hold down the other button to charge up your shot, which I was so thankful for, because it felt really good to me instead of having to try to do both on the same button.
That sounds like a game changer.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Instantly. And going from one game to the other, like in a week's time, it's like, okay, I feel the difference. I still really like First Squadron though, like First Squadron Phoenix. So I'm not trying to put that one down, but like I had said last week, my only thing about that is I wish they had just changed that button to be a separate one. And Wild Blue Skies has them separate, so it's great.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm excited to play this one. I will get around to playing this demo. I promise.
It's super short. Like you'll finish it in probably like 15 to 20 minutes. So definitely worth playing while it's still around.
Hey, I'm used to things being short, so that sounds good.
Wow.
I meant like demos, man. I meant demos.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Don't make this a thing.
Power up!
Hey, if you're enjoying this episode so far, do us a favor and throw us a like, a follow, share the episode or the podcast with folks who love indie games so we can get more of these game recommendations out there and support the indie game devs. We also have that YouTube channel I keep hounding you about, where you can watch us playing more indie games or check out our top 5 and top 10 series for even more indie game recommendations, because we believe there is an indie game out there for everyone.
Get ready!
I played the game that I was dreading coming out, because I know that this is the game that if it comes out, like, I will lose my wife to this. This is called Raccoin, the coin pusher roguelike.
Yes.
And in fact, she saw me playing it yesterday on my Steam Deck, and she was like, is that a coin pusher? Is that a coin pusher game?
Oh no.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was really cool, man. They did an excellent job of taking the addictiveness of a coin pusher machine, a real one, and doing the exact same thing. Like, I did not want to stop playing this game. It was very hard to pull myself away. But it's fun, though. Like, it does a lot of the things I think you would assume would happen in this game. So like basically you have, they Balatro-ified it. You have like blinds, thresholds that you need to meet over different rounds. And so you are pushing your coins and then you are using money and stuff that you earn. Well, you're actually not earning money. You're earning tickets and you're spending the tickets to buy either prizes, which are essentially like sort of like trinkets, and also like keychains, which are sort of the same thing. Or you're buying different types of other like tokens or coins or whatever to throw in there that all have varying effects that either will like raise the value of stuff or change something about how things interact with each other, whether that's other coins or what have you. You're also like buying slots for those special coins. So it's not like you buy a special coin and that coin immediately just goes in there. You're also like upgrading these like separate slots, and then you are strategically throwing those special coins into the machine whenever you want to. But like you are also getting like multipliers where it's like if you keep getting coins to go over the side within like so many seconds or so, like you can start earning like a multiplier that will just keep going up and up and up. So it's really like kind of challenging you to keep things going and to react quickly and not, just take your time and do the thing like you would do in real life where you're just kind of like waiting for that perfect moment to do it. You got to think a little quick on it. And there is like reason to keep doing that too, because there are these thresholds to get bonuses as well when you are doing like that kind of stuff, especially with the multipliers. Like a little wheel will pop up and spin, and then you can get bonus things like a huge amount of coins might drop down that will help you, or like a coin tower will suddenly pop up in the middle. And it's like, oh man, if I can get that coin tower to go over the side, I know I'm going to meet the threshold that I need. So it's a whole bunch of stuff like that. It's actually pretty clever with all that. I think just within the demo, though, it's one of those ones where like you have to unlock a lot of stuff before you have access to all the things that you need, I feel like, to create very effective builds. So I had to play a lot and fail a lot before I think, had a chance of being like, okay, I think I can now strategize. I think I'm getting to that point now because I've spent too much time in it. But
that's how it gets
it's definitely one of those. Yeah, it's definitely one of those games where it's just like you do have to spend time in it, I think, for a while before you can really come up with like a build or anything like that or do any theory crafting. So like to me, that seems like a slight bit of a drawback, but there's plenty of other roguelikes that are like that as well, that I don't really dock it too much for that. But overall, like it's enjoyable and it's kind of chill for, a roguelike as far as that kind of stuff goes. Like it reminds me, out of all the ones that we've played, it's more akin to Clover Pit than anything else. But I think this one's slightly more chill than that is, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I guess. Like this feels like one that someone would spend 600 hours and be like, it was fine. Like, because you have to your point, to even like start making progress. And like that's a draw, and like also something that deters me from playing games like this, because I know if I start playing it, it's going to be hard to stop.
100%. It's one of those games where like, do you have any of those? Well, you don't really mobile game at all.
No.
But some folks might understand, like sometimes you have those games that you will jump into that you don't have to give it your all. Like you don't have to have like 100% of your focus on it. You can like watch TV or something and have a game going as well. To me, this is one of those, because like we started rewatching One Piece and I had that going while I was playing this demo and spent quite a while in it and was doing fairly decent for a while. So had some decent runs. So to me, it feels like one of those. And like, I think it's the perfect kind of game for one of those things, especially if you are a fan of roguelites.
All right. I mean, I probably will play it. Let's be honest. As much as
you sounded so like,
no,
fine,
I'm disappointed in myself ahead of time because I know I'm going to like it.
I think you really will. I'm going to have to keep Rochelle away from my Steam account so that she never touches this. because she gets so addicted to those machines. I will never see her again.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially if it's at home with her. She's never getting out of bed again.
Yeah. She will never take care of our child again.
Okay. Tangential game in a weird way that I forgot was coming out, and I'm glad that it was like it popped up on my like Steam thing. It's like, hey, the demo for this is out in my email. So DiceVaders, the follow-up to StarVaders, which
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah. So this one has the name suggest, a dice centric game, but you're playing the other side of StarVader. You're playing as the invaders, not the heroes.
Oh my goodness.
You're playing against the heroes. And this is almost like, I would compare it to like Balatro in the sense that you have blinds that you have to keep meeting essentially as you progress through the level. Like it'll start like, okay, I need to meet 100. You're gathering up like as you roll these dice and as you're positioning your invaders in your little grid, you are getting attack power is what it is as you get these multipliers and things going on with your dice. And then that is going against the blind, which is called the defense. So it's you trying to invade a planet, and the planet's defense is the blind you're trying to beat. So as you're going through and getting these like dice rolls and getting all these cool like relics and things and different sort of invaders that have different stats on them, like that's where you're trying to get like the multipliers and the raw like numbers. So it's very much a gambling type roguelike in that sense, but in the form of StarVaders with that same art style and everything. Probably the same sort of enemy like sprites that were used for that game were reused for this, but it's a completely different type of game. And I love that you're playing the other side of the battle, and you are choosing in the demo, you can choose between eventually 3 different like invaders, like basically what the equivalent of a hero would be, but like a villain. And it looks like there's up to like 10 villains total in the main game that you can choose from, which all have different stats and things and different sort of like buffs to your, whatever you're trying to go towards as your build. But it just was such a cool game and like a surprise to me. I didn't know what it was going to play like at all. So I got super into it. And I beat 3 bosses, I think. I beat 3 bosses out of the 4 that I think are in the demo. But like the blind got so high that I was like, I don't even know how I could get that. Like it got up to like 3 million. And like my last one was probably like 500,000. So I'm like, how am I supposed to get 3 million?
Wow.
So I just got completely like destroyed. But with the enticing part about it is like, okay, I know if I went back in and strategized more from the start that I could build myself up to get to that point, just like Balatro does to you. So yeah, it's the StarVaders take on Balatro, but a dice game.
This is crazy.
It's
One,
great.
I didn't know they were making this. I loved StarVaders, so I'm very excited for this. 2, that sounds like such a cool premise. I love the idea that you were playing the other side of things. I love the artwork. I love that they're just the little, almost kind of like chibi little like icon versions of themselves. Like, I mean, I say that though, that's how they were kind of represented on the grid.
Yeah, that's how they
But
looked
some
in
of them,
the StarVaders game for the most part.
Yeah, some of them are definitely like smaller and cuter looking than they they were. Like, man, that is so cool.
Yeah, you got to try the
Okay.
demo out. You'll get what I mean right away.
I mean, every single demo you've brought up so far, I've added to my library. So
Nice. I'm glad we played like a bunch of different things because I looked over your list, and there is the last one I'll mention after your next one is one that you did mention to me before. So that's the one I'll go out on. Well, actually, I've got 2 more, but I can mention one of them real fast and the other one as a to I guess lead us out of that segment.
yeah, that would be totally fine. I'll mention my last one here then, which is one that I do think that you will be interested in playing because this feels like such a Joseph-style game. This is called Lunch Break Tactics. So this is a deck builder, like card battler. It is an auto battler card battler.
I don't care what else you have to say. I'm in.
It has asynchronous multiplayer. So it's like one of those things where you are building, you are drafting cards and stuff throughout a run. And whenever you go in...
Real quick, I know exactly what you're talking about with the asynchronous battles because this game I played, I don't even know if I brought up on the show, Toy Smash Kaboom also has like asynchronous multiplayer like
Same
that.
kind of thing?
Yep.
So you're going against like decks that other people have already made or done anything with.
Yep.
So like you are earning reputation and stuff based on like how you do with that. And that is basically on, sorry, I just started laughing because in the trailer, they show somebody like finish playing the game, then go outside and physically touch grass. And that's just funny to me. So you were getting all these cards and the premise is like essentially a bunch of people on their lunch break playing this insane TCG that makes no sense. Like just all of the characters and cards and stuff are just completely wild, right? How it kind of works is you pick your hero, you pick 2 clans that you're sort of like mix and match, like kind of thinking back to like cross splits a little bit as far as that goes. And so you will have 12 battles over a run that you do. And like you will be seeing how far you can rank up over those 12 battles using that asynchronous combat. In between each battle, you are using an allotted thing of like $10, or sometimes you have ways of getting more than that, to either purchase new cards, replace some of the cards that you already had, upgrade cards, add items to your cards, all things that you want to do to try to keep improving your team and also create synergies, like, and not just a synergy of like, hey, this one will improve this one. You need to come up with some absolutely buck wild synergies to do well in this game. I mean, crazy stuff, because this game goes insane. Like, I got into a few battles where it was just like so many things popped off on my opponent's side before I even had a chance to attack once, that I was like, oh my God, what am I doing on my side? I must be a fool. The amount of stuff that you can do is just astronomical. This is a big brain kind of card battle game that
awesome.
I think you would love.
This takes me back to high school. I mean, obviously that's what they're going for.
Yes.
Of like playing either Yu-Gi-Oh or the Dragon Ball Z TCG during lunch breaks. But like some of the art on all the art on these are just amazing. A lot of it's reminding me of like what is the Food Commandos or something?
Commandos, maybe?
Oh, Food Fighters.
Yeah,
Food Fighters, Kitchen Commandos. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
that's what it was.
Okay, we got there. But I just saw like a melted pizza card that was like, a lot of it is like anthropomorphic food. Some of it's just like, one of them's a rat with a butcher knife.
With a knife.
Like an actual like oversized
I like that
knife.
rat.
Yeah. There's a gummy bear with guns called Gummy Gunner. This is fantastic.
Here's the thing, though. That gummy bear is sick. You can do a lot of damage to that gummy bear.
He looks awesome. Okay, yeah. This game easily has my attention. I'm sad that it's not coming out till Q2, but I guess we're not too far from Q2. So
no, we're not very far away.
Oh.
Shrimp-pooner is one of my favorites. The shrimp with the harpoon.
That's great.
Yeah, he's good. There was like one battle I did where my Shrimp-pooner by himself almost wiped the entire opponent. Basically just with he had like a perk where before the person in front of him attacked, it would reduce the health of the opponent. So it was like I had my Shrimp-pooner as my second card. So everyone my first card was going up against, my Shrimp-pooner would throw his little harpoon and reduce their health a bunch. And then I kept like just one-shotting all of them over and over and over. The thing with this is like whenever your cards attack, both cards will simultaneously do damage. So it's just like, if your card does 12 damage and their card does 12 damage, they're both gonna do 12 damage. So it's like whoever, can outlast the other.
I bet
that's
there's
who
cards that have first strike and stuff like that, though, to
There
avoid
are.
that. Yeah.
There definitely are. There's shields. There's all kinds of stuff, man. Like anything you can think of is in the game.
Yeah, I'm completely in on this game.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I had such a good time with it. I did not rank well, but I had a really good time.
Borealis Lab, Borealis Games. Yeah, developer and publisher. Nice.
So what do you have? You said
Okay.
you got 2 more.
Yeah. 2 more. The first one I'll kind of go through quickly. Not that I think it deserves like more time than that, but I just want to, in the interest of everyone else's time, I just want to throw this one out there because it's really cool. Rune Dice, Rune Dice. In this one, you basically have a dice tray, and what you're trying to do is aim you have just a dice with a 1 on it. You're trying to aim at other ones, and when you hit that 1 will turn into a 2, and then it will try to launch itself toward the closest 2 that it can, which will then turn into a 3 and continue going and going and going. And while that's happening, you're building up your attacks in your dice, a slot to the left. And at a certain point, either a dice won't exist on the board, or it'll just be too far away from whatever the last dice that it turned into can reach. So it'll just end that turn. And when that happens, that's when you'll attack the enemies, because this is also of course, a roguelike dungeon crawler RPG. So at the top of it, you've got your hero on the left side, and you have enemies that are slowly progressing towards you as the game goes on. So basically, every time your dice stops moving and you end a turn, the enemies will move towards you, or if they're ranged, they'll shoot at you, et cetera, et cetera. And you're just going through trying to build this combo of dice that either getting new dice or powering up dice that you already have. For the rogue character that you start out with, he has things like backstab dice and whatnot, and those will attack the enemies in the back, which is great when you have ranged enemies that you wouldn't otherwise be able to hit, because otherwise your hits just go straight for the closest enemy in front of you. So it's nice to be able to take those out from the back. And there are different sort of traits and artifacts you can get that will help to build up different kind of builds in that way. Maybe your backstabs now do double damage or something, or whatever. There's different sort of builds you can do with this. So just like with any roguelike, but I love the art style of it. And just, it was a really fun, addictive loop as I was playing through it. And you're also progressing upward through a map to get to the boss of the level 2. It only has the 1 level in it right now, but it still took me a few tries to get through that once I hit the boss, because he was pretty challenging until I had a pretty good build and I was able to defeat him. But yeah, that was just a really fun, quick roguelike game I wanted to mention. Definitely one I'm going to pick up.
Nice. I see. So developed by Smart Raven Studio, published by Quali. Quali's got some really good games. I know they published Don't Stop Girly Pop. They're publishing a game that's coming out later this month that I wanted to get on your radar called Grime 2. That looks pretty sick.
Grime 2.
Yeah. So check that one out at some point.
I will, because I feel like I might have played Grime 1.
It might even be in our library. I don't know.
It could be.
There's so many games.
Okay, but the last game I want to mention is the one that you brought up to me, The Eternal Life of Goldman.
Oh, yes. I was hoping you would have played this.
And this is the other one I wanted to talk about as far as being one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. The animation is so slick. It looks so good. You are essentially playing as an older gentleman who is one of the
Jewish man.
Yeah, one of the lucky ones, which is part of this tale that's being told. It kind of feels to me like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen kind of deal. It just feels things maybe not to that degree. It just feels like a group of people who were once trusted and very powerful people and have just started to age, but they are still powerhouses in their own right. But then on top of this amazing gameplay that it has as an action adventure kind of platformer, Metroidvania game, it's got this beautiful animation. And under all of that, there's some sort of like story that I feel like is going to end up making me cry at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like the subplot of it all, or I guess the main plot of it all, because without me saying too much about it, like this is a story that's being told as you're playing through it. I don't want to say anything about like who's telling the story, but it's like, it feels like that's going to be impactful in a big way. And I am already feeling like, oh, this is going to hit me hard if it caps off the way I think it's going to.
Oh, man. Is it like, so is it being narrated in kind of like a Bastion sort of way?
It's being narrated in that like every once in a while, like it will cut off and it'll kind of be like it doesn't show like who's telling the story or anything, but you're just hearing voices. But the person who the story is being told to will cut the narrator off and ask questions about it or something, or challenge it. And then they'll kind of like try to elaborate and then be like, but hold on, like, let me get back to the story. And then
like never ending story kind of.
Yeah. And then it'll go back to gameplay. So, or like Princess Diaries, even in a way.
Interesting.
Or Princess Diary, rather. Yeah. But that was just the most recent one I saw of like a movie that reminded me of that. But yeah. So I feel like it's going to have like some really cool like wrap up, or really emotional wrap up potentially. But even if it doesn't, like the gameplay itself, even if it didn't have that whole sub story to it, the gameplay itself would have made me want to play this game. But now knowing that there's a lot more layers to it makes me want to play it even more. So yeah, had a really good time. And you're essentially like the gameplay is DuckTales, like it's a DuckTales like in a way, cane, because you're bouncing with a cane. And that's what you're sort of like, you're getting these upgrades that are to your cane. Like my first upgrade that I got was this like sort of umbrella hook that I could put on the back of it. And that allows me to actually hook onto certain things in the game. And then I got like a middle part of my cane that lets me bounce higher, things like that. But the way that you're defeating enemies is by bouncing on them like you do in DuckTales. So, oh man, this game, so good so far.
It looks so cool. Like I'm just in love with the art of it. And me being a big lore person, like I know that there's a lot of like Jewish folklore that's like sort of integrated into this game as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
So like I'm very excited to see like what all they use and everything, and like that's gonna make me super, super excited. So yeah, this was one I definitely was just like, oh God, I have to get Joseph to get on this one, especially with like the animation style feeling very sort of almost Cuphead-ish in a way, as far as like the fluidity of things and kind of having a little bit of an old school cartoon sort of style to it in a way.
Yeah, but not like Rubber Hose style. Like it's more realistic than that.
But it still has like an air of something from the past to it, and just looks, I mean, every single screenshot you look at is going to look like a painting almost. It's just
like you could hang screenshots of this up in your house as a painting. It's just so beautiful.
I'm so excited for this. Yeah. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did want to mention it last because I know that's one that you had been like, you should play this. So I wanted to leave it a surprise for you. It's like, I did play it and I liked it.
Yay! I did good. Hey, we did it. We got through
how many games was that?
I don't know, but listen, I did play more.
Yeah, so did I. But
let's do this real quick. Let's go into our final round. Hang on.
Final round.
I want us to share what are the other games that we played that we didn't go into great detail about. And then I actually do have one game that I do still need to talk about, but very, very slightly, because it was not a demo. But the other demos I did play was How Many Dudes, Shudder Story, The Big Hollow 1982, and Map. Though I'm not talking about those on the podcast, what I decided to do is I'm writing like little micro reviews on our YouTube channel. And I know that sounds weird that I'm writing on YouTube, but like, hey, you can do that now. Did you know that? Go over to our posts section.
That seems wrong.
Yeah. Go over to our posts section on YouTube. You will see that some of them are already up there, like Shudder Story or How Many Dudes. At least I know are already up there because I did those today. So hopefully the other ones are getting up there as well. But like, go check those out. There's going to be like more reviews and stuff like that starting to pop up on there as well when I can't bring everything to the show because we will run out of time. So, yeah, those were all like interesting games as well. Just could not bring all of them to the same episode. What about you?
Okay, so without saying anything about any of them, Scott Pilgrim EX,
Oh, yeah.
Bounce Castle,
Okay.
Wild Tactics, and
okay.
and Super Meat Boy 3D. I can't believe I forgot to mention Super Meat Boy 3D because it's, if you like Super Meat Boy and we're like, man, I wish this were more challenging, then play Super Meat Boy 3D.
I wish this were 3D.
Yeah, I wish this were 3D and more challenging in a weird way because now I have to deal with different dimensions. Then yeah, this is a game for you.
Well, hey, I know Scott Pilgrim EX comes out next week. We'll probably be talking about it
Okay,
in
then
more
I'm glad
detail next week.
Glad I saved that then.
Yeah, I purposefully didn't play it because I knew we were probably going to talk about it next week, so I was going to wait a little bit. So,
Okay. Also,
so many good games.
One I want to throw out that wasn't part of Next Fest, but that I did also play was a Super Battle Golf. I finally played it.
Oh my goodness!
Callie and I both
yes.
played it on the Inner Gamers, the show I mentioned earlier, on their stream yesterday. Or no, Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, we played it on Tuesday. Super fun. We had all 8 players filled in. Oh man, what a wild time.
Huge thank you, by the way, to the publisher who sent us a whole bunch of keys for that so that we all have a copy.
They'll
So
be happy
thank
to
you.
know that I purchased a copy before I knew
You
that-
purchased it right. Like literally,
The
I
same
messaged
day.
you and I was just like, hey, the publisher just sent us all keys. And you were like, ah, dang, I just bought it.
But I'm
That's
not.
all right,
I'm
though.
not somebody who's going to return a game like that. I do not regret
No.
that purchase at all. Oh man, what a good game! And now we just have an extra key that you can do whatever you want with.
Heck yeah. Maybe we'll give it out. I think we're going to try to get me, you, and Callie all into a game at some point, and then maybe we'll give out a key then when we
That'd
do
be
that.
super fun.
So,
Yeah, we should
yeah.
stream it.
hell yeah. We should. We got one more game that I want to talk about real quick because, again, this was not a demo, so similar to what you did. This is Dice a Million. This was developed by Countless Nights, published by Two Left Thumbs, and sent to us by Graham from Two Left Thumbs. So thank you very much for sending us this game. Dice a Million is a dice roguelike. It is exactly like we talked about this a little bit last week, and it is exactly what we thought it was going to be, where you are rolling dice into that square, and you have rings that you can purchase that will affect some of the physics and outcomes of everything and some of the results. You are buying all kinds of different dice, and that is really the coolest part of the game is all of the different dice. There are so many. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how many there are, but like I feel like every time I've done a run, I've seen like tons of new ones, and they all have really interesting effects, and you can put like different effects on different die to make even like wilder and weirder combos as well. It is really crazy and really fun. In that Balatro style way, you have kind of a blind that you have to like keep beating and keep increasing. And it also has like a really fun, sarcastic and kind of tongue-in-cheek and sort of meta humor to it as well. In that like your character kind of understands that he's stuck in a game that is specifically a roguelike game. And I think that that's very funny.
Man.
So
I want to
very
play
much
this
enjoyed
one.
it. Yeah.
I forgot that it was on my wish list until you mentioned that. And it was like, oh, cool. We got a key for it. Great. Even better. So I will be playing a lot of that. Why is it like every other game we talked about today about cards or dice?
That's the thing now, man. Like, it's cool to be cards or dice, especially if you're a roguelike.
It works. It just works for me. I don't know what it is. It's that super simplistic, like addictive quality to it. And with the Balatro aspect of like getting all those things to modify your gameplay, it's like simple concept that just can go so many different ways. And I just love it.
Also, we like to see number go up.
Number go up. It's the best. That's my favorite place for numbers to go.
There's like a legitimate psychology to incremental games and the need to see those numbers increase. So like it is a very smart decision, honestly, for a lot of these devs to be making games in this way. And especially off the back of like, you know, the success of something like Balatro. And then we saw with Clover Pit last year that didn't do nearly the numbers of Balatro, but did see a really large amount of success. in a very similar way. So there's definitely like a really big market. There's a really big want for these kinds of games. So yeah, we're going to be getting a lot of games like this for a long time. And also the idea of it too, that a lot of these games are based in somewhat of nostalgia in a slight bit way, because a lot of them are taking something familiar like poker, like different dice games, like slot machines, like coin machines. These are all things that we have played, in our past and stuff and have a familiarity with. And now it's adding new rules to it, and that makes it very exciting. The psychology of these things is actually very fascinating. I mean, you can see it in how well these games tend to do. So I'm here for it, man. I love seeing these kinds of games pop up, and I'm ready to play them all. I'm gonna catch them all.
Since I'll be buying a house soon, I'm going to see numbers go down. That's going to make me very sad. So I'm going to need plenty of these numbers go up games to occupy my time and cheer me back up.
They'll make you feel better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. As you lose physical money and that makes your dopamine go down, you can watch this fake money and these numbers go up and make your brain feel good.
And make brain feel good.
Yeah, brain feel good.
Game over.
Hey, if you had a good time listening to this episode, stick around for the bumper to learn how you can help support the show and all the things we do here at Nerd Sloth Creative. You can also check the show notes for our link tree, which will take you to our social media, Discord, merch store, and all the other cool things. Get in touch with us, though, and let us know what indie games you're playing and help us elevate these games so we can help support the indie game devs making them. That's game over for us. My name's Chris.
I'm Joseph.
And we'll continue on the next episode.
Continue.
Indie Game Arcade is recorded and produced by Nerd Sloth Creative. If you're looking for more gaming content, head over to youtube.com/nerdsloth for indie game let's plays and recommendations. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/nerdsloth, where you can select a pledge and receive access to hundreds of hours of bonus content from everything at Nerd Sloth Creative. If you're an indie game developer and would like us to review your game or explore other opportunities, send an email to nerdslothcreative@gmail.com with the subject line Indie Game Arcade. Thanks for listening, and keep supporting indie game devs.